I need to get this off my chest and
Do it, girl.
say it with your chest. There have been a few instances or circumstances lately and also during the year that I find myself getting on the phone with athletes after they happen. And I just say to them, I'm sorry that this happened. And I also want to do exactly what Charissa just did. Say, thank you so much for your time. I always say thank you. I always tell them I appreciate them. I'm also very I use love very easily. I'm like, love you so much.
No,
not meaning I'm in love with you, but
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you. I love you for giving your time. I had a long chat with my dad when he was in town. My dad has been in the industry forever. I'm embarrassed to not even know the numbers. I should. Ryan, can you look up my dad, Steve Andrews, right now? Multiple
and also
Emmy
the number
winner.
of
Tell me how
Emmys that
long.
he's won.
Yeah.
Won. I can't keep track of those.
We were going over some things that have happened within the media. And my dad was saying this would be great to do. My dad's like, I would love to hold a class for colleges to say, this is not what you do. I know Charissa said that a lot of women who are in college or starting out in the industry listen to our podcast. I'm very grateful of that. They have told me that wherever I go, I know you get that a lot as well.
Yep.
Guys, listen to your Auntie Erin here. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice.
Cutie.
Couple things. You don't have to be an asshole. How about this? Stop worrying about trying to make a name for yourself or be clickbait with these questions that tie these guys down or put them in a bind, or you want to be the person in the press conference. Don't do that. They're not animals. They're not pieces of meat. Yes, I realize they are the story. And like Charissa said, they are supposed to give us times of day. They are supposed to help us out. Listen, I have guys that run right past me on the field, even if they're my good friend. And I'm like, hello? You just threw for 432 yards. Why are you running past me? Shit is going on in their lives. They've got stuff going on that they'll text you about later and apologize. Here's the thing, okay? They are human. And I'm so frustrated with some of the shit I'm seeing. I know people out there, they want to make a name for themselves, reporters, and I know they want to kind of stick out, but you don't stick out. You do stick out in a really bad way when you treat these guys like shit. You can't do it. There are a lot of things I need to work on. I will say even yesterday with my Mike Evans interview, I sounded way too excited. I was going way too fast. I was yelling. I think because I was so fucking excited for Mike Evans. He had 3 touchdowns.
You're
It's
so
a huge
cute.
game. Bucks offense is back. It was fun. And I needed to pee. Side note. But there are a lot of things I need to work on with my job on that. The one thing I am very proud of what I do is I always say, how's your family? Was on with Tristan Wirfs the other day. He had a great story when he was drafted, taking his mom down the red carpet of his house right before the draft. How's your mom doing? Treat them like individuals. It will take you so far and they will remember that than the bullshit, rude ass questions because you need to write your little bit on a blog or your hit for some network that you're on. Don't treat them like shit. It's not going to help you. Because guess what? I know you're not a professional athlete, but things go on in your job where you get treated like crap and you don't like the feeling and you remember it too. I just have been so frustrated lately with the way some of these people have gone about these guys. And I'm sensitive about it because I was talking to a few guys about it yesterday in Tampa. I don't think it sets us back, but it doesn't help us in any shape or form when people behave this way towards athletes. I just don't get it. I'm really annoyed by it lately. Thoughts, questions, concerns?
Well,
I'm getting a heat rash.
Nope. Okay, so I was writing down while you were talking because I wanted to remember these points. Number one, I love that you care that much for it to give you a rash, for you to feel like you have to. It's not a tangent. It's not a rant. It's your feelings, and you have earned the right to say, first of all, it's our damn podcast, so we can say whatever the hell you want. But
yeah,
also, you have earned the right in this industry as the one of the women who have done it at the highest level for a very long time to say how you feel about this. You have incredible relationships with a vast percentage of individuals and players in this league, and you're very well liked and very well respected. So this is what I wrote down. They want to be the star. I saw this shit all the time in entertainment.
I'm sick of it.
I'm sorry, and I don't say everyone doesn't need to just go to their respective place in life, but guess what? You're on the other side of the rope, sweetheart.
You are.
They are the star.
They are.
This is what I saw all the time in entertainment, where the interviewer wanted to be the subject.
Yes.
Guess what? You're standing behind this rope for a reason. You're interviewing them. So that's fine. It's your job to ask hard-hitting questions, to get to the bottom of the story, if you want to be an investigative reporter, then be that. This is not that. This is covering sports and entertainment. And I get it. And I fall victim. I don't always ask the hardest questions because I don't want to. I don't want to like dig into some deep, like whatever. Like I'll ask questions that I think will elicit the best interview. And if I really wanted to like do a gotcha moment, then I would get into the investigative journalist portion of this program. But yes, I'm with you 100% on that. But also, I feel like there's this sense where it's like we got to do gotcha moments. Even with Ron Rivera on the podium yesterday, where someone's like made this big deal of like he didn't know if he'd be eliminated. I understand that like yes, they should have like a pulse on the different scenarios, and I get it. But like I've never been a head coach. Do you know how much shit they have to deal with? Like they can also have someone tell them. Do you think that the president of the United States knows every detail about every single department? Like no, that's why you have guys underneath you, and you can sit there and be like, oh, Rivera should have known. But why are we now going to make it a thing like, oh, he's an idiot? The only thing I disagree with Ron Rivera on is Carson Wentz. Why the hell did we put him back out there? Taylor Heineke earned the right to stay out there, and Carson Wentz showed us exactly who Carson Wentz was, is that he needs to continue to work on his game, okay? But I love you. At that point, it's just this thing of like, we're in this cancel culture, gotcha media, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm with you. When I sat down, bring it back to the Fred Warner thing, I said, what is it that you love most about like this regime? Like the Kyle Shanahans, the D'Amico Ryans, the Robert Saleh when he was there and then left and went to the Jets.
Love
he goes,
D'Amico.
They always ask about my family. They care about us as human beings. And what do you do? What happens when you care about someone as a human being? You will stand on the wall for them. You will go to bat for them. Insert analogy here. It's like you become invested in them. And that's the same way that I feel it is at Fox. They're my family. Think about the shit that I've went through and they've been there for us. The same thing for you. And we've worked at other companies where they have not treated us the same way. So treat people like humans, be kind. And I am not standing up here and acting like I'm fucking Mother Teresa because I'm sure along the way I've been an asshole. And if I have been an asshole to you, then I apologize. But I am with you in that the interviewer doesn't need to be the star. And guess what? If you're that great, people will find out. You don't have to tell them, is my dad's like expression in life. If you're a really good interviewer, by the way, rest in peace to the great Barbara Walters. She asked hard questions, but she still did it in a respectful manner and became a legend in this business that we can all look up to. So, yeah.
Amen, sister.
I'm still trying to drink my green juice.
I'm trying to get my heat rash out. I have a lot to say and I'm passionate about it. I agree with you. I feel like a lot of these people that are kind of giving me this heat rash lately, they want to be the story instead of the guys. And I don't think they even care about the player or the coach's answers. They just want to be known as the person that is asking it. Prime example, I'll say this. For whatever reason, we're preparing last week for this Carolina Bucks game and winning you're in for the Bucks. Obviously, it was a big story if Brady's going to make it to the playoffs. He's sitting there talking about the offense, talking about what this game means. And somebody asked him in the middle of the press conference, when are you going to know it's time to retire? Not this week.
Yep.
We're talking about Carolina. Why are you doing that? What are we doing? It just annoys me. The Todd Bowles question yesterday, it was a very big deal going into halftime that he settled for a field goal on 4th and 1 instead of when the offense had the momentum. And I was actually texting my dad about it. I'm like, I have to ask why he did it. And my dad said, yes. And I said, if he says it's for the points, do I then say, well, yeah, but you had all the momentum? And my dad said, you're not going to get in a debate with a coach at halftime. Yeah. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. What he says is the answer to my question.
There you go.
Move on for the rest of the game. I don't understand why people have to fight these guys. I'm not saying don't ask the hard questions, but I also think very much in real life, it's about the way you go about it. Your tone and all that. So anywho, for all of you out there starting it out, I do think having a good relationship with these athletes are a big deal. Meant a lot to me a couple weeks ago. Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show and he just talked about the crew that we had with Joe and Troy. And he said, the conversations that the three of us would have with him was a lot of times just about life and not even the game. And he goes, those were some of my best memories of working with those three. And I think that goes a long way with people. And so you guys starting out, I'm not saying you're going to walk up to Tom Brady and be like, hey, how's your family? But just don't be an asshole. That's just my own thing. Like, treat them like you would one of your friends or your family members and be, you know, a human being.
Well, this was always my thing. And I think I've told this story before, and it's not to break my arm.
Where's
patting
the Tylenol?
Patting myself on the back. But it was in entertainment. We had these agenda questions all the time. And guess what? Entertainment is based on who's dating who's getting a divorce, the personal life. And I get that. I mean, there's a lot of, now as a consumer of it, I understand that like you have to ask these. I just was so uncomfortable with it. But Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck were getting a divorce. And I had to interview her because she was in a movie and she was coming down the line. And I was like, fuck. Because of course, the first question is about her divorce. So I just put the microphone behind my back and I looked at her and I said, they are going to make me ask these questions. I do not want to ask these questions. I am so sorry for what you're going through. As someone who's been divorced, I wouldn't want to be asked these questions. I said, so I'm going to try to do it in the best way that I can. She goes, thank you. So then I asked her a couple of questions. She answered as classy as she is, like one of the classiest women.
Yeah.
And then the interview was over and she started to walk away and then she came back and she grabbed my arm and she said, thank you for doing it like that. And I was like, so what did it take? 2 seconds to just be like, hey, and I get like, you know, there's different ways to approach it. And I also love one thing I wrote down.
That's a great way.
Down that when you were on your rant is I love that you care enough to critique yourself. Like there's zero part of you and I that sit here and be like, we are the best. We're the best. I mean, I fuck shit up all the time. There's always times that I play Monday morning quarterback about myself. Like I could have done this better. I could have done this better. But I would hope, and again, bringing it back to anyone that listens to this podcast that's a aspiring broadcaster or maybe even a broadcaster, if you got tips and tricks, I'll take them all. But like, I don't pretend to know everything. I just know that being an asshole doesn't get you very far in life. So knock it off.